Most people ask the wrong question about Freemasonry. They imagine one hidden throne, one secret master, one global command room, where orders move from the top of a pyramid into every lodge on earth. It is a powerful image, and that is why it survives. But the real control structure is stranger than that. The disturbing part is not that one man openly commands the whole system. The disturbing part is that the system does not need one man to work. It is built from local lodges, grand lodges, private recognition, old rituals, closed rooms, and relationships that can connect men without ever looking like one single machine. In this video, we are not chasing every rumor. We are following the structure, how local lodges answer to grand lodges, how grand lodges recognize or reject each other, why the Scottish Rite and York Rite do not control all Freemasonry, and why a system with no world headquarters can still create a powerful private map. The trail runs through the Grand Lodge formed in London in 1717, Anderson's constitutions in 1723, the later union of rival English Grand Lodge systems in 1813, and the recognition rules that still decide which lodges are treated as legitimate. The first thing to understand is that Freemasonry does not begin at the top. It begins in the lodge. The local lodge is the basic room, the place where men are initiated, meetings are held, rituals are performed, officers are chosen, and members recognize one another as brothers. To the public, it may look like a private club with symbols on the wall, but inside the Masonic world, the lodge is the root unit. Every question about control begins there, because control in Freemasonry is not only about commands, it is about who can open the door, who can recognize you, and who can say you belong. Above the local lodge sits the Grand Lodge. A Grand Lodge usually governs Freemasonry in a specific territory, such as a country, state, province, or region. It can approve lodges, set rules, discipline members, and decide which other Grand Lodges it recognizes. That sounds like a headquarters, but only inside its own jurisdiction. A Grand Lodge in one country does not automatically command every lodge in another country. A state Grand Lodge in America does not simply take orders from London. This is not one empire with one king. It is a forest of private jurisdictions, each guarding its own doors. That is why the famous idea of a single global Masonic command is too simple. There is no visible world president of all Freemasonry. There is no one public office that every Mason on earth must obey. But this does not make the structure harmless or meaningless. In some ways, it makes it harder to understand. A single center can be investigated, questioned, or blamed. A scattered system is different. It can deny central control while still preserving shared symbols, rituals, language, degrees, and brotherhood across borders. The power is not always in command. Sometimes, the power is in recognition. Recognition is one of the most important words in this story. A Grand Lodge may recognize another Grand Lodge as regular and legitimate. If recognition is granted, members can often visit, communicate, and treat one another as part of the accepted Masonic world. If recognition is denied, the other body may be treated as irregular or outside the approved circle. To outsiders, two lodges may look almost the same. They may use similar symbols, aprons, ceremonies, and language. But inside the system, one may be accepted and another may be rejected. Control, in this world, is not only who gives orders, it is who decides which doors are real. This is where the United Grand Lodge of England becomes important. It does not rule every Mason on earth, but historically, it has carried enormous symbolic weight in the world of regular Freemasonry. Its roots go back to the Grand Lodge formed in London in 1717, and later to the union of rival English Grand Lodge systems in 1813. For many Masonic bodies, recognition from this line of authority became a powerful sign of legitimacy. That is not the same as direct control, but status can influence a network without issuing commands. A body that defines legitimacy can shape the map even when it claims not to own the territory. Then come the rites, and this is where public confusion becomes deeper. Many people hear about the Scottish Rite, the York Rite, the Shriners, the Royal Arch, Knights Templar degrees, or the 33rd degree, and assume these are higher command structures controlling the basic lodge. But in most regular Masonic systems, the basic craft lodge, often called the Blue Lodge, is the foundation. A man usually becomes a master mason there before entering other affiliated bodies. The Scottish Rite may offer additional degrees. The York Rite may lead through another path. But these bodies do not simply command every lodge beneath them like military generals. This is why the 33rd degree is so powerful in the public imagination and so misunderstood at the same time. In the Scottish Rite, the 33rd degree is a high honor, but it does not make a man ruler of all Freemasonry. It does not automatically give him command over every Grand Lodge, every Blue Lodge, or every Mason in the world. But public suspicion does not come from the degree alone. It comes from the image of hidden progress, private honors, closed ceremonies, and men rising through layers outsiders cannot inspect. Even when the official explanation is less dramatic than the myth, the structure still creates the feeling of a ladder disappearing into a private ceiling. Here is the real turning point. The issue is not whether Freemasonry has one secret emperor. The issue is whether private recognition can create influence without needing an emperor at all. A room does not need to control a government to become politically important. It only needs to connect men whose public roles are bigger than the room itself. If lawyers, judges, soldiers, police officers, businessmen, politicians, clergy, and civic leaders share private obligations inside the same network, the public does not need proof of a master plan to feel the danger. The danger is that access may move where accountability cannot follow. This does not mean every Mason is corrupt. It does not mean every lodge is plotting. It does not prove one global command system. That kind of claim is too easy and too weak. The stronger point is harder to dismiss. Private systems of recognition become controversial when they move close to public power. History shows that suspicion grows when ordinary citizens cannot tell where public duty ends and private brotherhood begins. A judge may say he is impartial. A police officer may say his public oath comes first. A politician may say lodge membership is only social. But the question remains, should any public servant carry private obligations the public cannot fully see? And when scandal happens, the whole system becomes darker. Italy's P2 Lodge is one of the clearest examples of why secret membership near power can terrify a country. P2 was not proof that every Masonic lodge was part of one global plot. But when investigators found a list of powerful names connected to a secretive lodge network, the public saw exactly what critics had feared. Businessmen, military figures, officials, intelligence-connected names, media influence, and politics touching the same private circle. After that, the symbol was no longer just a symbol. It became a question about who was meeting out of sight. So who actually controls Freemasonry? The official answer is simple. Each Grand Lodge controls its own jurisdiction. Each local lodge operates under its authority, and affiliated rites operate within their own systems. But the uncomfortable answer is that control is distributed. It lives in rules, recognition, committees, traditions, status, rituals, private bonds, and the quiet value of being known by the right men in the right room. Freemasonry can appear weak because it has no single world ruler, and powerful because it can reproduce the same private language across cities, countries, and institutions without needing one. That is the final truth. Freemasonry's mystery is not that one hidden leader sits above the world. The deeper mystery is that the system works without needing one. It is not a single throne. It is thousands of doors. It is not one chain of command. It is a pattern of recognition, private access, symbols, status, and silence. If this hidden map is starting to look bigger than expected, subscribe to follow the next branch, because the next door opens the ladder itself. Blue Lodge, Scottish Rite, York Rite, and the degrees most people confuse with command.